sign into YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. Now enjoy Cine Talk with the one and only Cinebros.
What's up, Cinemaniacs? We are back. We are back with no episode this time, because we are talking about our favorite movies of 2015. We're going to be following that up with a worst of or Cineplops of 2015. That'll be a shorter list because, we just didn't feel like going that deep into it. Yeah, who likes to really bash on movies too much? Well, we do like to do that. But anyway, and who is we? We is me. I am Shane Moore at the Cinebros. You can find me over there on Twitter. And who is the other person that is the regular on the show, the Ed McMahon to my we have Sir Chadwick Davis.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Chad. But we're going to start off with our best, and that's going to be our top 10 list of 2015. We're going to see how different they are.
They're going to be wicked different.
Yeah, I think they will be. So we have, first off, subscribe to us on YouTube. YouTube.com/TheMovieHouseManiacs. I don't have the name under there this time, but it will be under there sooner or later. And best movies of 2015, baby. That's right. And the weird thing is that a lot of these, that looks like it's like World of Warcraft. We have Pirates of the Caribbean. Those weren't in this year.
No.
I don't know what the heck's going on with this back. Who's doing all this?
I don't know.
Who's doing this stuff? I mean, really.
Kind of weird. You picked it.
The animated guy is horrible. Well, yeah, it's just me. All right. First up, Chadwick's number 10 on the list.
Love this movie. It almost fell off my list for a couple other.
What's the movie?
Fury 7. I mean, it's up there.
Well, I know, but it's just you on the camera right now.
Yeah, it's Fury 7. It was Paul Walker's last movie, obviously, and the 7th installment of this series. I loved it. I saw it in the IMAX theater. I enjoyed it the whole time. Clapped, cried. I did it all.
I this almost made my worst list.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know we get.
So that's how you know how different this show is going to be.
Yeah, this is a great movie.
So number 10 on his list is Furious 7. All right. Yeah. So we'll go in a little bit more depth as we get closer to 1.
Yeah.
Number 10 for me, and this was a tough one. This is a tough one, really tough for me. And I had this and Trainwreck on the border, and I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to put in. And I did Man from U.N.C.L.E. Man from U.N.C.L.E. was number 10. I thought this was brilliantly shot. I thought that Guy Ritchie did such a good job telling the story. I can see why some people didn't like it, because it wasn't a true adaptation to the TV show. That was in the 60s, but this I thought was just brilliant. The chemistry between the two, I thought that even Alicia Vikander, who had a very busy year this year, she was in 4 films in 2015. She did a pretty good job. I liked her chemistry with Armie Hammer. I just love Henry Cavill. So I thought this movie was just brilliantly done. Loved the way it was shot. And I thought that in and out thing that they did on the mountain when they kind of looked like it was like a drone that was taking the pictures was just phenomenal. So I really liked it. All right, moving on to number 9 for Chadwick. What do you got, Chad?
It's going to be The Duff. I know, this was a big surprise. I mean, I was going through my list of movies that I saw this year. I wrote them all down.
How many did you end up seeing? About?
I think it was the final count was 60 or 70 something
in 2015.
Yeah. I actually kind of forgot this movie came out this year.
I did too.
And I'm looking at the list, and I'm like, I had them all listed out as I saw them throughout the year, and I'm like, oh my god, I've seen that movie like 4 times. That movie was great. Like. It kind of like reminded me of kind of like a Mean Girls kind of movie. Relatively unknown actors and actresses.
I didn't even realize that Ken Jeong was in it.
Ken Jeong was the teacher in it, and he was great in it. He had a small role in it, but it was just a great movie. I mean, it was a good comedy, and I laughed the whole time. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. Did you end up seeing this one?
I haven't watched it. No.
Oh, it was good.
I haven't watched it yet, and it's probably on Netflix now. I assume it seems like it's one of those movies. So I'll watch it eventually. But it took me like 10 years to watch Mean Girls.
Yeah,
so, who knows?
We'll talk again in 9 years.
I didn't mind it. So it was a good movie. It was pretty decent. All right, my number 9 on this list. The Night Before. I thought that this movie was so incredibly funny. It was my favorite comedy of the year, pure comedy. It was comedy gold. I love Seth Rogen's here. I love the chemistry. I'm going to say that a lot today. The chemistry between the 3 actors, Anthony Mackie, JGL, Seth Rogen, was phenomenal. Even Seth Rogen and his wife, the timing that they had together was so funny. And this has my favorite, funniest, laugh out loud scenes. 2 scenes in this movie were with Seth Rogen when he was high on drugs. So incredibly well done. I laughed so hard that I missed, jokes that were coming right after.
You said this was one or two of your funniest scenes of the year?
No, both. Two of my favorite funny scenes in the year were both from this movie.
It was better than Choosy Doozy?
All right, that's probably number two. Choosy Doozy. I forgot about Hot Tub Time Machine. That's probably number two. Yeah, that's number two on the list. I'll move Seth Rogen's other one to number three. But holy cow, yeah, this was great. This is so good. So good. All right. Number 8 on the list for the Chad.
I'm going to go with Mad Max Fury Road. I love this movie. I saw it twice in a theater. I took my dad the second time. I think we saw it together, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we saw it together.
I was watching Mad Max 2.
While we were in line.
We were watching it in line. I was finishing it up.
It was so good. Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron was amazing in it. It was nonstop action the whole time. It had you on the edge of your seat the whole time. Like it was like you literally never stopped. Like
the movie was
very
never fast paced.
Yes, and it was. You guys talked about it earlier, but it was like the storyline wasn't that great, but the actual like shooting of the movie and just like the action scenes and were amazing.
Yeah, it was great chaos.
Yeah.
All right, my number 7, Spy. With Melissa McCarthy, Rose Byrne, just a phenomenal cast. This the whole cast, Jude Law, Jason Statham, so incredibly funny. The movie, I have this ahead of The Night Before for one reason only. This movie was extremely funny, but it was also action-packed. So the movie flowed better. Whereas The Night Before had a couple small little kind of downtime moments that just didn't flow as well as the downtime moments that this one had. And so I am all for this. I thought that the supporting roles in this were great, like Rose Byrne, Jason Statham was hilarious. Even Jude Law was pretty good. But then you have even Melissa McCarthy as the lead. She did such a good job in this role, and I was so happy to see this movie. And I've watched it probably about 4 or 5 times this year. And on top of that, I own it. I bought it on Blu-ray. So
I seen it. It was really good.
It was so funny.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble for saying this so low. It's number 7, and I absolutely loved this movie. I saw it 3 times in the movie theater.
If you can't read the Chinese on the picture over there, that's the Chad's favorite.
That was my favorite poster. That came
and
from
it is Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
It's so hard to explain why it's so low on my list, but it was so much fun, and it's such a great movie to go see. But I don't think it deserves to be one of the best movies of the year. Interesting. In my opinion, it was so much fun though. It was a lot of fun, and that's coming from a guy that is not really into Star Wars like everybody else is.
You like it though.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it, but I just didn't think it deserved to be as high as some people put it.
Okay. All right, so I guess this would be 7 on my list, not 6.
This would be 7.
Yeah. And that is The Bridge of Spies. And that is with Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg, Mark Rylance. The cast, amazing, totally on point. Hanks and Rylance's chemistry between each other, so good. Steven Spielberg's director, anytime he directs a movie, there's a good chance that I'm going to nominate it because I love his vision on almost everything that he does. He is such a good director. And Tom Hanks is one of, if not the best actor of our generation. You can throw Daniel Day-Lewis in there, but he doesn't do a lot. So it's tough to try and keep him at that piece because, I mean, if Tom Hanks only did a role once every 5 years, he might be that darn good too, but we don't know. So, because Tom Hanks is in every year. He's got another, and he's probably going to get nominated again next year for the movie that he's going to be doing about the pilot that landed in the Hudson River.
Yep.
So, I was blown away with this movie. It definitely needed to be in my top 10. I loved it, and I actually want to watch it again, which is rare for these kind of movies because it does flow well. It had a good humor in it. Tom Hanks he did a great job.
Yep.
But Mark Rylance stole the show. He was the best part of the movie. Yep. So I was really, really on board with that. That's a great movie. What do you think? Number 6 now. 6. Yes, we're at 6. We're at 6.
This is a weird one too. It's gonna be the Peanuts movie.
The what movie?
The Peanuts movie. The Charlie Brown movie. It's not even my favorite animated movie of the year, which is pretty weird because the other animated movie didn't make my top 10. But if I were just to say how good the movie, how good the movie was, and like if I'm gonna go back and see I based a lot of this on if I'm going to watch the movie again.
Yeah.
My favorite animated movie of the year was Shaun of the Sheep. I'm
Okay.
probably never going to see it again. But it was really good, and I would suggest everybody to go see it.
It was good.
But I would watch the Peanuts movie again. It was so well done. Like it brought you back to watching the Peanuts back when you were young. I mean, they did an awesome job with it. The actual color, it was so colorful, and Snoopy was great in it. He had a couple scenes that were kind of dragged out a little bit. And
He always does. It's too bad too because he's so awesome.
Yeah,
Snoopy is the
great.
best.
He's definitely a lot of people's favorite characters in these movies, and I see why.
And I can see why they would want to drag it out, but it always just ruins it a little bit because they just go a little bit too far. They always do that with him, and it's too bad because he's awesome. But if you made those shorter, people would want more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, my number 5. I think we're 5.
Six.
Six.
You're still on 6.
How am I on 6 still? How am I on 6 still? Oh man, Jesus! I'm glad somebody's keeping track here. All right, mine. It's funny that we both have number 6 as animated movies, and mine is Inside Out, which was my favorite to win animated movie of the year before the year started. And on top of that, I thought this movie was just great on so many levels because it wasn't just a kids movie. It was an adult movie, but not in your typical adult movie fare. Like Lego Movie was an adult kid movie because it was fast paced, but they had a lot of jokes for adults.
Yep.
This didn't just have jokes for adults. This was a thinker for adults.
Yeah.
You got to actually experience all the emotions between, anger, joy, sadness, all that kind of stuff. And they did such a good job of getting you to kind of break it down in your own mind and watch it play out, how it might play out in a kid's mind. And it's just so good. I love the way that it was done. And I am surprised that it didn't get nominated for Best Picture, but on the same time, it probably didn't deserve it with the great movies that came out this year. So I hope it still wins for Best Animated. I think it's the favorite as of right now.
Yeah, it should win.
And it did such a good job. Pixar doing a great job as always.
Always.
So. We'll go on. Now number 5.
Number 5.
I got it. Number 5. Johnny 5 is alive.
My number 5 is It Follows.
The horror man himself here.
Yes, and I loved it because it brought me back to the old school horror movies. Like, it didn't have the jump scares that the movies now think they have to make a good horror movie. It was just creepy. It got a really high rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It actually got released limited in 4 theaters, and it wasn't even supposed to get a wide. It wasn't even supposed to get a wide review, like a wide release.
Yeah.
And it did so well in those 4 theaters that they were like, "Yeah, we have to put this out now." And 2 weeks later, it went worldwide, and it made a lot of money for the budget that it was on. And
these horror movies are always made with like no money at all.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a great movie. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. My number 5 movie is The Martian, starring Matt Damon, directed by Ridley Scott. I have one of Ridley Scott's greatest movies that he's ever directed right up there on the wall over there, Gladiator. And I think that this movie was a great movie. It just was such a fun movie, and watching how he played this character on Mars who basically was like Castaway. It was like Tom Hanks' character on Castaway. Didn't think there was anybody coming to get him, wanted somebody to come get him, but he was going to do whatever he could to survive until someone was able to come get him. And what he did as far as making people laugh when he should be so kind of just, I don't know, distraught and sad by his situation, and he just made the most of it. I love the way that they captured the whole, like the way that Mars looked. They made it look beautiful. And I thought that Ridley Scott did such a great job. Ridley Scott always has beautiful looking movies, but they've always fallen short on the story and the even some of the acting. But this one, he destroyed it. And all the corresponding parts, like Jessica Chastain, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Jeff Daniels, all in this movie, and they all did such a great job. I was really, really blown away and happily blown away that this movie, and it destroyed the box office too.
This is one of the movies that I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't get to see last year when it
came
out. No, I haven't seen it yet. It's so weird that we've seen so many movies and we've seen so many different movies
overlap a lot.
Yeah.
All right, number 4.
Yes.
Chad on this list is
it's
gonna
be Black Mass for me. I am so into this like Whitey Bulger like kind of movie, and I mean I've read so much about him, and I just follow the story like in real life too. Like he was such a powerful man in Boston, and Johnny Depp, hit it on the nail, like right on the head of the nail, dude. Like I couldn't have asked for a better performance from anybody in this movie. And everybody around him was great too. And I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Like I don't know, a lot of people went to this movie and they were like, yeah, it was kind of boring in some parts and whatever. But I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I'm like, yes, man, this guy is so badass. And I just got chills just watching him. Like just every time he was on the scene, on the screen, on the big screen, I was, oh man, I'm afraid of this guy. And yeah, that's why it's number 4 on my list, man.
There was a lot of great performances. I mean, he did a great job. Benedict Cumberbatch as his brother, phenomenal. Joel Edgerton probably stole the show as kind of the corrupt cop. He was so good in that role. This movie, I didn't put it. It was in my top 15, not in my top 10. But yeah, he did so good in this movie. There were so many good people. Yeah, so many good cameos too.
Oh yeah, Kevin Bacon was
in it, and you barely saw him in the trailers. Yeah, but yeah, Johnny Depp did an amazing job. Yeah. All right, 4 for me, Steve Jobs, Michael Fassbender, and I loved this movie. And when this movie came out, it was number 1 on my list. A couple of movies have obviously dethroned that since, but I thought that Michael Fassbender. You know, you have Jeff Daniels in this again, which I thought he did a better job in this than he did in The Martian. And on top of that, you had Kate Winslet, who also did a phenomenal job. And Michael Fassbender and Winslet are both nominated at Oscars. I think Steve Jobs, as an overall picture, I can understand why some people didn't like the way it was shot. But I loved everything. I like how they touched upon the relationship between him and his daughter a little bit. They didn't go too deep into it, which I'm glad. I thought they touched upon it just the right amount to give you those kind of feels, hit you in the chest with the feels. So I thought that just overall as a movie, I liked the 3 different kind of how they did the story in 3 acts, and it was 3 different, parts of his life and his career. And it was so good. And you just got to see what Steve Jobs was really like as a father figure and as a, genius, orchestrating the whole kind of iMac, Mac, Apple situation that they had going on. So good. I'd highly recommend this movie. And obviously Aaron Sorkin does an amazing job with screenplays. So good with words. And this movie is word heavy. They all nail it. They nail it. All right. Number 3 on the list for the Chad
is going to be Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
That's such an amazing movie. When it first came out and I first saw it, I was like, this is going to be nominated for Movie of the Year. And obviously it wasn't.
It came out in like February.
Yeah, it came out in I think it was released in February or March. I saw it twice in the movie theater.
You saw it twice? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw it twice in the movie theater. You get 2 of the same actors that were in Star Wars in this one, which is amazing because Dom, I can never say his name right.
Dom Gleason.
Yeah, he's been in 3 amazing movies last year, and his roles in all 3 movies were all pretty amazing. Even though they're all supporting. This one, he was kind of the main character.
Yeah, I would say he was. Yeah.
But the other 2, and obviously in Star Wars and The Revenant, his supporting, he's amazing.
He's also in Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's an amazing actor. Like it's so good. And then Alicia Vikander.
Yeah.
She was amazing in this movie as a robot. I mean, it was so good. And Oscar Isaac.
Poe.
Yeah, but it wasn't Poe.
No.
It wasn't Poe.
It was not Poe. This was the creepiest person ever. So I watched this movie recently. I was on the cusp of making my top 20.
Yeah.
But I think this movie itself, it just was extremely creepy. Not something I'd necessarily want to revisit again. Domhnall Gleeson stole this. He was so good.
He was so good in it.
But Oscar Isaac as that creepy ass. Good. He was so creepy. I have never seen anybody as a person be so kind of charismatic, but at the same time, you cannot read this guy at all. Nope. It's so good. And he's almost unrecognizable in this movie. You can barely you don't know who that is. Yeah. And he's just a big fluffy beard, and he's just crazy and weird and chaotic, and
I just like it.
Smart. But,
it was so original because nothing's really been done like it. Like there's no.
They've attempted AI stuff like this, but not like
this. Yeah.
This is like drama meets creepy horror kind of meets. I can't even love story. I mean, it's so weird. It's just. It's just so, and it gets more twisted. Like you think it can't get any more twisted
and
halfway through the movie, and it just goes crazy.
Yes.
All right, number I think three.
Three for you.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Yep.
This movie, when this came out, was on the first one on my list, and then Steve Jobs came out and pushed this one back a little bit. This movie was visually stunning. I saw the before and after effects of like the shots that they did before effects were put in, and when the effects were put in, it just took it to a grander scale. And I thought that George Miller did such a good job directing this movie, and like I said it before, absurd chaos, the controlled absurd chaos that was going on, the car chases, the effects, the stunt work that was done, so amazing. Something that you don't see.
No.
I was blown away by all the performances, even though the performances weren't the best part of the movie. So it
totally
was
agree.
It was a beautiful shot, beautiful movie, beautifully chaotic movie. Number 2.
Everybody's gonna hate me for this, but Jurassic World was my second favorite movie of the year.
Pratt.
For the longest time, it was my favorite movie of the year until number 1 took over. Amazing. I love Chris Pratt. He's like my man crush, kind of.
Yep.
But I just thought it was. I thought it was well done. And you know, since the second and third one were so bad, I like that they brought this one back and made it good. And you know, kind of like Star Wars, like they brought Star Wars back and made it good.
Yeah.
I think they made this one good. The dinosaurs looked really good on the IMAX theater. They looked real, man. Like they looked like they were gonna eat me. Like I was, and I thought all the performances were good. I mean, I know you said you didn't like the relationship between Chris Pratt and Dallas, whatever her name is.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. But I liked it, and I liked the movie.
All right, great. So I really enjoyed it as well. It wasn't my favorite blockbuster of the year. It didn't make my top 20. It was a fun movie, but that's pretty much it. I mean, it wasn't anywhere near like the first one, but it did a good job in kind of bringing you back.
Yeah.
My number 2 is another big blockbuster this year, and that is Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the most fun I've had at the movie all year. I've never wanted to go back to the theater so quickly and that I have since I saw this movie.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of movies that I love that are really fun, so much fun. Like Lego Movie was so fun. I wanted to go back. I don't think I ever went back to the theater to see it again. I've watched it a bunch of times on HBO and all that stuff, but this movie, just all the moving parts that were in this movie coming together, flowing so perfectly, paced amazing, CG work phenomenal. Some of the best 3D I have ever seen in a movie ever. And not like stupid 3D with like Brandon has talked about on shows before, which is swords coming at you and like stupid stuff that doesn't really need to be there. Seeing, the Star Destroyers come into the picture and like kind of sitting in the theater.
Hitting you.
Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved the way it's shot. I loved all the chemistry. I loved the humor. There was so many elements that this hit on that I couldn't have this not in this part of my.
I'm actually surprised it's number 2. I thought it was going to be your number 1. I haven't looked at your list, so this is a surprise to me.
Number 2, yep, number 2. All right, number 1. Number 1 for the Chad. Woo! All right.
Now this movie is the movie I think is going to win Movie of the Year. It's going to win the Oscar. I actually have a bet with somebody that this is going to win the Oscar.
Who are you betting with?
I'm betting with somebody that you don't know. He's not part of the show. But he thinks the Revenant is going to win.
Well, I still love him, and he should subscribe.
He actually used one of his quotes on the Star Wars thing.
Oh, excellent.
So, but this movie is going to win Movie of the Year, I think. It is so well done. All the characters, all the actors are phenomenal in it. Might be Mark Ruffalo's best performance, I would think. Obviously, it's Spotlight. Yeah. I mean, you guys were talking about earlier on the other episode, and Brian loved it too. And this is one of the few movies where me and my dad watched it together, and we literally walked out of the theater and we didn't talk for like 10 minutes. Like it was that good. Like we were speechless. And I just looked at him and I was like, you know what? That was an effing great movie. And he's like, yeah, it was perfect. Like, and my dad doesn't say that about movies. And me being, I grew up Catholic and everything. So like, it was very close to me. And it was a great movie and how they put it together and on such a touchy topic.
Yeah, that's a tough topic to tell.
Very touched, and they did it correctly, and they did it the right way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. My number one on the list, The Big Short.
All right.
Great cast. I watched this movie about 3, 4, 5 days ago. This is a drama. They have it as a comedy at like the Golden Globes and Critics' Choice and all that stuff. It's not really a comedy. Does it have funny moments? Yes.
Ryan Gosling is very funny.
He is hilarious in this movie. And this is technically his movie. He is the one that does all the voiceover work. He is the kind of person that kind of doesn't really bring everyone together because they never really meet past, but you get this huge thing that impacted all of America, all of the world. And the way that they kind of captured it between the eyes of 3 different groups of people was so incredibly well done. I loved this movie. I was watching it and I'm jumping out of my seat and like, yes, come on. I love when people kind of show the corrupt side of everything. I love the chemistry between Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling. With Ryan Gosling's character, how over just like confident he is and how he looks down upon everybody, and Steve Carell's just not looking to put up with anybody's bullshit, and they going head to head, and they actually, you could see how they kind of respected each other almost. They were so good. Overall, The Big Short, my favorite, and I gave it the closest rating to 10 out of 10 that I have given since I started doing this show. Like even my written reviews never have given a 10 out of 10. This one got a 9.5 out of 10. It was almost perfect. I finished it and I wanted to watch it again. So I loved this movie. Can't wait to watch it again. And I hope that you guys agreed kind of with our list. We have very different lists, barely crossing paths at all. So those were the and we're going to be going on to the Cineplops of 2015 next. And you will see those very, very soon. Coming up just in a few minutes, we're going to be recording. We're going to be same shirts and everything like that. And we will be coming at you, but we hope you enjoyed our 2015 best of.
The best of.
And we'll see you guys.
Peace.
If you watch the show on YouTube, please click that thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And thank you for watching.